evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome to what is likely to be the biggest, baddest, and most epic gladiatorial event that Sim Racing World has seen so far. My name is, of course, Scotty Rattlegun Rankin, alongside the shibster, Mr. Nathan Howard.
That's me.
Jimmy, this is what is known as the last great Coliseum.
And it's in Bristol, UK, right? That's where it gets its name from?
If anyone's listening, can you please send me one competent commentator to work with once in my life, please? Anyone? No, I'm stuck with him.
Any takers? Yeah, sorry. Nobody wants this job, mate.
The job of Monday Night Racing is all yours and mine alone. Oh, sorry, Monday Night Podcasting. My apologies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway. Recently, this place got a complete overhaul by them trucking a whole bunch of dirt in. This is not that. This is the asphalt version of Bristol Motor Speedway. This has two options for the pit lanes here tonight, a single and a dual pit lane. So as the trucks file their way out to start their qualifying runs, there is one pit lane that they can enter. Look, the guys struggle some weeks with identifying a few different rules in the trucks, and I just thought, look, two pit lanes is probably just a little bit too far beyond these guys. Let's keep it nice and simple. Qualifying times coming in thick and fast early on. Jumping out into pole position is going to be Christopher Tomlin, picks up a 15.111. Jai Schultz will tag a 15.598, and Aiden Schultz will grab a 14.822 and jump to the top of the board. Only one of the 14 seconds. They are quick laps here tonight with only 100 laps. She is going to be an interesting race.
Just like to let you guys know before you guys let me know, yes, the paints are not correct. Trading paints, don't know what's going on, but it's taking quite a long time to grab these paints for us. So sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it'll sort itself out very soon.
Well, we'll settle ourselves in. A nice quick qualifying session coming our way. They do get 5 minutes, but with 15-second lap times, they can set all their qualifying times in the first minute. We've got 21 cars making the trip out here tonight. One of those will be our safety car driver. No, 21 cars is going to be the grid for tonight. And Shibby, this was an unintended bonus, but guess where NASCAR's racing this weekend?
Indianapolis.
Bristol in the UK. No, Bristol Motor Speedway in the States, which will play host to the second race of the NASCAR playoffs. And for those of you who don't know, NASCAR does not run a conventional point system. What they do is they run a conventional point system up to a point, and at that point they choose the top 16 drivers and say, go, you are now the championship 16. Everyone else is eliminated. However, if you have won a race, you automatically guarantee yourself into the playoffs. So this year, NASCAR, for the first time ever, had 15 race winners heading into the playoffs. So there's only one, the best drivers. So the 15 drivers who would won a race this season, 15 unique drivers who would won a race. So if you won 2 or more, you're obviously automatically guaranteed in. And then from there, the 16th driver was selected because they were the best one on points. And one driver missed out in the last couple laps. In terms of things, so which was Martin Truex Jr. got very, very close. Ryan Blaney got in because the 15th driver won the last race of the regular championship. If he does not win that race, Martin Truex Jr. makes his way into the playoffs for another attempt. So Bristol marks the second race of the NASCAR playoffs this year. And after the third race, Bristol's the third race, of the NASCAR playoffs. My apologies. Third race of the NASCAR playoffs. Because we just had Kansas over the weekend. At that point, they chop out the worst 4 drivers that haven't won a race on points. They get bonus points from winning races, bonus points from a whole bunch of different things. And then they go back to 12. They do the same again to get down to 8. They do the same again to get down to 4. And the championship 4 race out. Whoever wins on track on the last race of the championship out of those 4 wins the championship, which will be held at Phoenix. And for those of you who may not be as aware of what iRacing does in terms of the NASCAR, what they actually do is special events each year. 4 events will be run to the full NASCAR duration. So 2 of those events are the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600, which is run from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then they tend to vary the other 2. Most of the time you will see the championship race, so Phoenix will play host to that again. at the tail end of the year will be the last race of the championship for NASCAR. Will be another full-length race, and this year it's going to be the Bristol 500, which will be held on iRacing this weekend, also alongside of the Bathurst 1000.
Big weekend of racing.
Yeah. And the big, loud, noisy cars that don't turn so well, the cars that are doing their big weekend of racing on iRacing this weekend.
They're the favourite cars to watch.
Yes, sure.
Are you saying the V8s aren't exciting to watch?
Sure.
You're all about the ovals, aren't you, mate? You just
You
don't
I
like
am.
turning right at all.
Look, don't get me wrong, the Bathurst 1000, I love it, but it's one of those cars you just can't make me drive. I just can't drive them.
I can't drive them either, mate. Even though you're trying to force me to get my license so we can drive them. All right, the grid qualifying is done. We had a few guys not actually set qualifying times. Did we have any ROGs this week, mate? Is that a reason why we had three or four guys didn't set times?
A few drivers that just don't want to set times.
The grid is on your screen, guys. Aiden Schulz from Southern Star Esports has set the top time tonight of 14.823. But as you can see, throughout the top 12, there is half a second between all these cars. So this is going to be extremely interesting to see how this goes around such a high banked track. And I was stunned. I did a practice lap and did not think it looked as high as it did, but it is, there we go, it is extremely high banked.
Righto, so we are going to roll our way off of pit lane. Aiden Schultz, like you said, has managed to grab the pole position. Off alongside of him will be Blake Delaney in the Fishy Motorsports entry. Kobe Jordan and Glenn McLeod make up row number 2. Jared Steen, Matty Skulls, Christopher Tomlin, Matty Keane, James Rice, Peter Morris. Your top 10, Jamie Dyke, Nathan Allen, Darren Palmer, Jai Schultz, Michael Locke, Bradley Oldfield, Harry Stewart, Alan Dawson, Stefan Lawrence, and George Minus. Brooke Marquis actually had not entered the league, so he jumped in to do a couple laps in practice, have a little bit of fun, but he now will exit the session so that everyone can get rolling.
Oh, that's awesome. So it could be a new driver for next season, because season 4 registrations are open, guys. If you are interested in coming and having a race in the SRW League and getting all your incidents shown on camera.
All of your field goal attempts as you attempt to send another car into outer space. Can happen at Bristol, by the way. Bristol's fantastic for its wrecks. Right, so 15-second lap time. So if we run every lap of this race at green flag end to end, this could take us a grand total of 25 minutes.
Oh, NASCAR overtime? Is that what I heard?
However, it is one of the narrowest tracks in very high banking, and Bristol Motor Speedway plays host to the second last round of the SRW NASCAR Truck Championship. Aiden Schultz will lead the field down into turn number 1 and 2. Down the backstretch. Down into 3 and 4, and Blake Delaney dives down to the inside of him, looking to pick up a couple of spots in the opening running. He'll try and get it done in the midfield. Chaos already unfolds. Matty Key and Jared Steen will come together, and they will settle themselves down. My word, you have been working in your off week, haven't you?
Mate, we're trying to make these broadcasts better and better every week, buddy.
I love the promo department safety car.
We're still working on it. It is meant to be clear. But yeah, still working on it, mate.
Mate, I calls attention to the fact that there's a yellow flag. I wish I had one of those for my dash.
I can set you up one.
I mean, it'd just be constantly flashing in my case. Or is that your case? One
yeah,
of us.
I was going to say my case. I mean, I'm telling you, making me run the street stocks last night threw my neck out after producing.
Well, see, I've been running them all day today for a bit of fun, so...
You get time to have a bit of fun?
No.
Oh. You're just trying to make me feel good now?
Yeah, I'm trying to make you feel bad, to be honest.
All right. Forry, which I'm assuming is friends with Mr. Skulls. Matty Skulls loves supercars, but his favourite car to drive on
Did somebody just blow an engine?
Wait, I was trying to read. Jesus Christ.
Somebody just blew an engine! It was Matty Keane!
Matty Keefe. What's he done?
I heard an engine just go bang.
I sort of want to go back and look at the replay too. Oh, Shibby. Push the right button, man. So this,
Close enough.
This is, yeah, see. Yellow flag is thrown here.
There it is in the background. Jared Steen loses the rear end of the truck. And Matty Keane is going to make contact with him at some point. I don't know when that point is. Unless that's Matty Keane making contact with him there. No, that'll be that there. So sincere apologies again, ladies and gentlemen, for the muddled up truck liveries that you're seeing on your screen at this point in time. There is an issue with trading paints. And for those of you who aren't in the know, what Trading Paints does is actually it's a website-based client. You sort of load your paints all in through there and it gets downloaded. Unfortunately, that's not working for the stream tonight. So you're going to see a whole bunch of cars that look pretty bland. And on my screen, they look pretty. On Shibby's, they don't.
Yeah, some cars are working and some paints aren't. I'm not sure. Trading Paint has crashed on me a couple of times tonight. So it is something that I will be looking into. So this doesn't happen again.
And yes, we've already tried turning Shibby off and on again. It didn't work.
Oh, Lord. Every time I get a reset, I burn another fuse, I'm telling you. And we are green.
Back to green. And once again, they're going to settle themselves in. Here comes Delaney, gets a huge run. A little bit of a wiggle off of 1 and 2. Back to the bottom lane. He'll try and steal that lead away. Gets up alongside, gets the nose ahead. The high line. The momentum comes back the way of Aiden Schultz. These guys will settle in and run side by side now for a fair while. Glenn McLeod's trying to settle himself in behind. Delaney will lose out now, and caution will fly once more.
Out again.
Park backwards. I think it's Stefan Lawrence who's now backwards. Kobe Jordan is in pit lane as well. So a few drivers are now a few laps down.
Actually, looks like we can actually get a replay of this to see what's happened here. So we are looking at Stefan Lawrence. It is the black the car on screen there. Let's see what happens. Oh, he's just lost the rear. And assuming on a big bank track like this, once that rear goes, you probably don't have too much of a chance to catch it, do you? Oh, and then he's been pinned. Well, thanks to the promo department for the safety car tonight. Also a huge thank to our series sponsor, DSL Welding. Our stream sponsor, Pagnian Advanced Simulation. And a big shout out to Warren and Brown, Toyo Sim, and, oh man, who am I forgetting? Oh gosh, how am I forgetting one?
Warren, Pagnian Advanced Simulation, Melville Equipment Corporation?
Melville, that's the one. I couldn't believe I forgot Melville. I just did the fastest qualifying and pole lap video today. So from our V8s last night. So well done to Blake Delaney for setting that last night. Gosh, I don't think the coffee kicked in yet.
Well, yeah, it's going to be a long night at this rate. We're already 1/10 of the race through.
Yeah, that's what I've done, Dave. Thanks for dropping in, mate. We're just letting it run. Not sure why it's being so slow, but it is.
Settling ourselves back for another restart here in a few moments. They will be 1 to green, I believe, this time on by the way that they're setting themselves up. 2 spare sets of tyres back behind the pit wall for them to come down and grab at some point.
Are they supposed to be double file or single file? I can't tell with the way.
They can do whatever they want. It's not a huge deal, provided they don't gain any spots. They're allowed to be side by side under pacing if they want to. There was actually an incident over the weekend where at the end of have I taught you about stage racing yet?
No, but please do fill us in.
So stage racing is a NASCAR thing. So what they do is most of their races are up around the 400-500 mile mark. So what they do is they break the races up into multiple stages, and the top 10 at certain lap thresholds will earn points at the end of that lap. And then they'll throw the caution flag, they'll restack the field back up, everyone can sort of do their pit stops if they want under caution, and then they'll go again for another stage. So there's opportunities to earn points throughout the race. Some endurance series do the same sort of thing, but won't throw a caution flag, where they'll go, oh, well, if it's a 6-hour race, the leader at the end of the first hour and the leader at the end of the 4th or 5th hour will get bonus points, as well as the leaders at, the end of the race also get results points. So NASCAR does the same sort of thing. At the end of one of the stages yesterday, the guy who finished in P2 in the NASCAR Cup Series came up and just let the driver that won the stage know his displeasure. Nobody managed to catch on what it was about. Nobody really had much of an idea. But the drivers will do that as well under caution. So, and while we're at Bristol, it's a short track. Tempers tend to flare. The bathtub tends to reflect everything back up you because it looks like a bathtub. They're back racing once again. Look at all the fans up in the stands as Alan Dawson will try and get rolling round the outside at this point in time. Settle himself back in. Delaney and Schultz are going to continue to go for it up at the front end of the field, and Delaney will actually cross the line for the first time tonight with the race lead. He's got that nose out ahead. Now Schultz will have to set sail, really try and make sure that he can hang on to that spot. He's committed to this high lane. The outside at this point in time, we'll see if he can hang on to the position. You enjoying a caution fest so far, Shipster?
The accidents haven't been as good as I'd hoped, to be honest. But I do like the new promo department caution that I've got set up. So, thanks to the promo department.
Probably time to talk about the points, actually, because we've got tonight and only one more round next week, which is Atlanta. So that's probably going to be a topic heavily on everyone's minds week to week.
And Palmer trying to make a move on Josh Schultz. Or the other way around. Oh, come on, Payne. Sort yourself out.
The 96 machine looking lovely in its blue and red tonight.
Mr. Peter Morrison, his new pink sipper meter.
I was going to say, the one paint was probably the most important paint of a lot of them that needed to load tonight.
Working, yeah.
Yeah, it's the sipper meter. You're 100% right. He's gone with the pink this weekend for Bristol. It'll be interesting to see if he does end up racing the Bristol 500. I'll ask him about that, I think, throughout the week.
He is
see how his preparation
loving
is going.
The trucks.
He is. He's enjoying it every single week.
Adrian, logging in to watch some other categories. Is this normal to have more yellow driving than green? Well, so far, I think it's about even. So it's about 50-50 split at the moment. And let's not curse it because I think we're on a good run here.
Yeah, we are. And they're starting to settle down and really split it out. Look, no, it isn't normal for sim racing world. However, this is oval racing, so cautions are a part of life.
Like my beautiful cautions last night.
The only caution last night was your driving, mate.
No, it wasn't. I should have qualified. You said start at the back. Started at the back. The mid-pack crashed, and that was game over.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take the blame for that one. Yeah.
That was good fun, mate. It was good fun. Got to get out there and have a go whenever I get the chance. Got a bit of bump drafting here coming from Nathan J. Allen on Darren Palmer. They were very, very close to each other then.
Just outside, just inside the top 10, sorry, and Peter Morris is actually going to be right up in behind them in P10. Leader's about 3/4 of the way around the track towards catching the tail end of the field, and with 16 cars in the session, you might go, oh, well, that's a bit soon. It's 14. Look at the times that are on the board. The fastest lap times for each driver displayed at the moment. Sub 15-second lap for 4 drivers.
How about we get some intervals up too? That might
no,
help
don't
the
do
viewers
that.
out there. We don't need it. No. Intervals. We're all about just watching the fastest lap. This is like a top 10 shootout style.
Well, I mean, for this early stage of the race, it might be. Coming up on a third race distance, this is flying by. Everyone's sort of single filed out at the moment. Schultz is one of the benefits by Aiden Schultz running that high line is he will just sort of open the it was Loretti that was asking about cautions. So Adrian Loretti would know more about SRW running. But yeah, tracks, Bristol, short track. That's just how life is, really. Is that series leader Christopher Tomlin on board at the moment? It is.
Yes, it is. And the paints are slowly appearing.
They're trickling in there. They're loading slowly. Points time, and with 2 rounds left, Christopher Tomlin leads the points by, get this, 4 points from Blake Delaney. Wow. So at this stage, Delaney will be, if everything was to finish as it is, Delaney would have the series lead by, I think, about 5 points at the moment over Christopher Tomlin. Harry Stewart was third, 2 points back. I can't recall seeing Harry's name. No, Harry did enter the session but did not turn a race lap. So, Harry, something's going on there for Harry. He was on 234, 2 points further back, so he will drop a long way back. Jared Steen back on 232 after winning at Talladega, and Kobe Jordan 230. So your top 5 on the championship covered by 10 points.
That is a extremely close points table with 2 races left.
Well, I mean, remember last season it came down to a dead heat.
It did come down to a dead heat. That's right.
We had tiebreakers. We had to go to tiebreakers to decide the Season 1 NASCAR Truck Champion, and the Season 1 NASCAR Truck Champion actually not out there on track there tonight as well.
And one of the guys on podium only ever finished on the podium once.
Yeah. Oh, Alan's going to drift up in the corner.
Oh,
we'll make contact.
Scared me.
And everyone keeps going. I think Sippermeter got the worst end of that. But Alan will move someone out of the way. I get the feeling you got sick of looking at the rear bumper of Darren Palmer. Oh, Tomlin's hit the wall hard. That truck is damaged. Have a look at the damage all over that thing. And Nathan Allen's catching him at a rate of knots. He is limping that thing around. 65% the fuel. They might actually be able to get a fair way into this race on the fuel distance. In fact, they may be able to go the whole way. On the fuel, with 65% fuel, we're coming up on 40 laps into the race, and they've settled themselves quite well in. Schultz has now pulled out a second lead over Delaney, who's still just trying to hang on. Glenn McLeod is 3 seconds back now off with Delaney, and they are starting to catch lap traffic in a hurry. A few cars in pit lane. 14th place has just come through the lane, which is Stefan Lawrence, so he will make a pit stop. Kobe Jordan's re-entered the track. Matty Keen's back out there as well. And is that Jamie Dyke? That is a very heavily damaged Jamie Dyke, who will be coming down a pit lane for a fast repair and a fresh set of rubber.
He also just took out the poor blue cone. Did you see that?
You've been watching Arca Break weekly.
Respects to the blue cone.
Is it just me, or is he circulating down there?
Yeah, it looked like he was on the backside of the track then. I think he was just staying low to get around. Yeah, there he comes into the pits now.
Pit lane.
Just staying nice and low. Stay out of the way of the drivers on track still.
It's a pretty... it's very difficult. One of the first things that I sort of noticed around here was it's so difficult to pick your way around the track and actually know where you are. The only real point of note is actually the flag stand to denote the start-finish line. And Jamie Dyke is trundling his way down through pit lane. Single pit lane, remember? So very, very long pit lane. Takes a lot of time to get down, get in, get out. But yeah, Jamie Dyke is now making that long, long trip. I think his engine's blown.
Mr. Dyke.
Because he is crawling back to pit lane.
Definitely doesn't sound like the engine's on.
Yeah, well, that will now pop back out the nose there, and he will return to the track. Matty Keen's just gone by him. So he'll grab some fresh rubber, fill the tank, and try and get back out there and get cracking again. Slow car
Oh.
rejoining from the bottom side at the moment. Stefan Lawrence returns to the track. Huge battle pack at this point in time. If these guys do have to pit, it's going to be critical to their racing. And Aiden Schultz is now about to catch the tail end of, I think this is the monster pack that we're actually looking at. Yeah, the race leader's right in behind that. Was that somebody sideways? It was. They've gotten back down to the apron. And yellow flag will come out.
Did you catch a glimpse of who that was?
I did. No, it was whoever was in 17th, so I think it's Stefan Lawrence. He's come out on cold tyres and just gone sideways. And it was right behind the race leader. Yep, there it is, cold tyres. The rear end's just come unstuck from underneath him.
Oh, I spat him up again. That is brutal. You think you've caught it, and then the track just goes, nope, have a wall.
So that will guarantee that these guys will pit stop now and get home. Lap times have only fallen off 2 to 3 tenths at the moment. And Kobe Jordan's going to be a recipient of the lucky dog hook one round and grab his lap back. There'll be a few cars in the field that'll probably try and get a lap back here. Whoa, couple takers only down to pit lane. Jai Schultz, Blake Delaney, and Aiden Schultz is going to stay out, not elect to come down pit lane. This is one of the few tracks where it's actually the first driver to pit and make their final stop to get home will be the driver that tends to win.
Look at these guys battling it out for pit position.
Well,
side
see,
by
it's a
side then.
It's a short. They're doing the same speed because they're at pit lane limit, but the problem is it's shorter to hug that left-hand side wall.
Yeah, definitely. Haha, yo, hey Eddie. Eddie's dropped in to say, go the Fish Key Boys. I don't know.
Fish Key
Yeah, the
Boys?
Fish Key Boys. I think that might have been a bit of a typo. We know who you're talking about, mate.
Do we? Schultz will come back in this time, which means he'll actually give up the race lead, I think. Somebody else has just had an engine go boom.
just blow, yeah. Oh,
You
is
heard
that,
that as
it's
well.
who's behind, whoever was behind Schultz. Now, let's see if I can... Someone in a black car. Someone just jumped to pits. I can't see.
Is that Stefan Lawrence again? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think
It
it
is.
was. Yep. The Sushi Boys.
The Sushi Boys. I like that one.
Do they like being called the Sushi Boys? I thought they like being
Probably
called the
not.
Piranhas.
That which
Or their names that they've been nicknamed.
the male model and vape master or whatever his name is.
Bus driver.
The bus driver. That's it.
Yeah, good old bus driver. A good friend of the commentator team and RC team.
Glenn McLeod's grabbed a whole bunch of spots in pit lane. Blake Delaney had a horrible stop. So Delaney missed his pit stop. He had to I actually saw that. He had to back up and have another crack at it. And Aiden Schultz has lost a ton of track position because he didn't pit the first time by.
Glenn McLeod's our last series winner, right?
No, Paul
No,
Bryant.
Paul Bryant, that's it. Sorry about that. Paul got mixed up there.
Well, he's not here tonight. He may as well have given up the title.
This
A
is
few
a-
different drivers are going to get their opportunity to lead this race. Darren Palmer and Michael Lock, the two cars not to pit under that one. They will line up on the front row. Behind them, Schultz and McLeod. Behind them, the 5 of James Rice and the 08 of Blake Delaney. Christopher Tomlin, Nathan Allen, Jared Steen, Peter Morrison. We're back green, and Aiden Schultz all the way back in P number 11. Tomlin gets a really good launch, was looking to go somewhere, but not really anywhere it could have gone. And now McLeod senses an opportunity, an opening, trying to get by these guys on the old tyres. Gets to the high side of Darren Palmer. Delaney gets up there. Jai Schultz gets blocked in on that bottom side, and Delaney and McLeod going for the lead up on the high side, and Schultz is stuck in there down the bottom side. It's actually going to be that somewhat messed up truck of Christopher Tomlin will get around a ton of cars.
Another yellow
caution flies, and we'll settle ourselves back for another restart.
Did you catch on the rear of who that might have been then, mate?
P12, I believe.
before I didn't see anybody lose any spots for that yellow flag.
There was Jared Steen, I think. Yeah, it'll be Jared Steen because he's a mile back off the tail end of the pack. So whether or not he lost it on his own, cold tyres. Remember, they've just restarted after they had warm
Yep.
tyres
So
up.
he might have just shot himself off. So no incidents. So Mr. David Coleman has dropped in to say the carp. That's dykey, mate. That's a bit harsh. He's also added, if he was a fish, he'd be the ugly one. So we love a good bit of banter between the teams out there, mate.
Does he have the lucky fin? Is he the like Finding Nemo who's got the dicky fin?
As a carp. He could. LRE Esports. LR Esports Network dropping in. Mr. Eddie One Kenobi is in the house. He sure is, mate. He sure is. How you doing tonight, Pete? Thanks for dropping in, mate. Really appreciate the support.
I was about to say, Pete drops in here, ends up on the podium, and he's like, "Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I've had my
done."
podium finish. Season done. I came here, I accomplished, and I left. We've got Sarah as well. Sarah K always dropping in on the NASCAR. She's dropping in for the Lesser Schultz and, of course, the Inside Lane boys tonight. So, as always, Sarah K, thank you so much for dropping in and supporting your team. Pete said he retired on a high. You did, mate. You did. Well done. It was great to have you in the comms box.
Are you showing up again next week, Pete, for Atlanta? And obviously, you've just sort of gone, "Oh yeah, you know, Bristol's just above and beyond." Look, it is a tricky track. I will give him that. You gonna have a crack at the Bristol 500 this weekend, Pete? Both Peters?
Petey Morris has said he's in. We know you are, mate. You can't get enough of the NASCAR trucks. We know you'll be here. I think Scotty Rankin and I might have moved on to something else in our careers, but Petey Morris will still be here in the Sippo meter. He'll outlive us all.
The NASCAR trucks will have finished, and then Pete will still be here running NASCAR trucks on Monday night.
Yeah, just running his own sessions.
Yeah. No, so we're actually running the older edition of Atlanta as a throwback. It's a fantastic track because it was one of those ones that where you could race in all three lanes. And it's about tire saving, tire conservation, keeping momentum up, setting up your passes. So we're actually running the old one. The new one, basically what they did was they took the Atlanta track as it used to be, added a ton more banking to it, so they tried to turn it into a super speedway with more banking on a shorter oval, and yeah, the racing's just not as fun.
Pete, we want to see you back for season 4 of the NASTRUCKS, mate.
Season 11. Pete will be back for season 11. Ladies and gentlemen, back to green flag racing as Glenn McLeod will lead the pack away for the first time tonight. Gets a great launch, and Delaney's going to go along with him. Tomlin gets the outside of Parmenter. It's a race for who can get alongside and who can get by. Darren Parmenter as Blake Delaney gets a huge wing on the lead. Joyce Schultz gets nudged into the fence. They're all wrecking to try and get out of the way.
Wow. Whoa, the car 91's off as well. Back into the crowd in another yellow flag. Back into the crowd? Yeah, crowd.
Well, it's a crowd of approaching cars.
It was a crowd of approaching cars. That is true. I'm actually very surprised. And well done to all the drivers then in that first mix-up to hold on to that and everybody to end up back on track.
Well, put it this way. The guy who's now leading the field had a big wiggle underneath Glenn McLeod. Blake Delaney was not pointing in the direction he wanted to go at one point. He was pointing towards the inside barriers a lot more than he thought he was going to. And he still managed to arrest it and go away. That is how difficult it is.
All right, we've got a, we should check out Matty Keen's in-car of that incident.
Because that's about the only time that Matty Keen's going to be on camera tonight, unfortunately.
So here we are on board with Matty Keen as the cars all split. Oh, wow.
Does he get through?
Wow.
No way he gets through. Look at those eyes. Look at the concentration.
And here he is. Still,
Schultz,
there's a car on the right-hand side of him as well. Wow.
see you later.
And that is in quarter speed. That is crazy. We're going full speed here. Let's watch how fast this happens. Here we go. Whoa.
When you get lucky, you get lucky. When that open lane opens. Actually, the higher the banking, the more when a wreck like that happens, they're gonna wreck and go back towards the bottom of the track. Because gravity's just gonna pull you in that direction. So initially, once they overcome that initial sort of force and the cars start slowing down, the race will the track will clean itself towards the bottom of the track. So they call them a self-cleaning track, generally.
Generally.
Because, I mean, yeah, initially when the cars make contact and they lose control, they will go up the banking because they'll just continue on straight in the direction that they were originally going, unless you're obviously on the throttle. So if you're trying to fire the car back towards the inside fence and you're facing that direction, the best thing you can do is stay on the gas. So, for example, you get really, really loose and the car comes unstuck on the bottom groove and you want to fire it into the infield to prevent firing back into the rest of the pack behind you. You'll step on the gas to try and make that happen. But if you're sliding towards the outside barriers, generally the best thing you can do is just stab the brakes because you go straight. Physics.
Science.
Yep.
No, maths. And science.
Well, see, here's a fun fact. Something happened at work a couple weeks ago. Anyway, we're supposed to have unique barcodes on a few different things, so our guys can just walk up and scan them. Anyway, we ended up with 2 copies of a few different barcodes, and I started making the joke that we solved the quantum theory using barcodes because we had 2 copies of the same barcodes in 2 locations. Does that mean they're the same item? You know that about quantum theory?
Yes.
That they were trying to force... Yeah, we had this discussion. We actually did have this discussion. Scientists were trying to use a whole ton of energy to make 2 atoms, one in space in the International Space Station and one back on the ground, have exactly the same quantum state, and therefore they could send messages instantly between the International Space Station and the ground, because when atoms have that exact identical quantum state, they are, in theory, the same atom.
In theory.
In theory. They were trying to prove it. Yeah, this was a while back, but anyway, that was
we are
really,
going
really interesting.
green flag racing again.
Time for these guys to show their understanding of tyre dynamics instead of physics. And it's going to be Blake Delaney that shows us how to launch a car at high speed off of the racetrack down into turn number 1. McLeod will pile his way back in there, and Christopher Tomlin, this is important for his championship. He needs to be as close as he possibly can to Blake Delaney at this point in time. 4 points is the margin that separates them. If he finishes P2, he will have the championship lead by 1 point. If he finishes any further back and Blake Delaney wins, Delaney will be walking away with championship lead heading into the final race at Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. Settling our pack back down in the mid-pack now. It's really difficult and critical if Aiden Schultz want to keep his championship hopes alive, that he continues to climb his way back up through the field as that livery finally pops up on the 52 machine. He'll now swarm his way over the rear bumper of Nathan Allen and see if he can rebuild his night. Jai Schultz got involved in that last contact. It was a fair bit of net code, unfortunately, for Jai Schultz, but he'll start to grab a few spots away. A little wiggle from Darren Palmer, trying to offer the space up. That checks up Nathan Allen, and Aiden Schultz senses opportunity, and he'll take it away. Allen's gets usually checked up by Darren Palmer, but he can't get back. Sorry, it's not Nathan Allen. Nathan Allen's now making those spaces. It was Rice that was getting checked up by everyone, so he'll now settle himself back in. Back up in front, it's still going toe-to-toe. Glenn McLeod is going with Blake Delaney, and we'll keep our eyes back in the mid-pack as Peter Morris tries to his best to now get past Michael Locke. Locke is just sort of the locking point in the pack at the moment as Aiden Schultz gets to the high side, barely gets through, and Nathan Allen gets collected. The pack will wreck, trying to avoid, and the promo department safety car will return to the course with 27 laps left to run at this point in time.
I'm really impressed with myself then. That's a great shot.
I'm impressed with you too.
Oh, he made me blush.
You've worked hard all season. Look at you.
I know, look at me go.
you wouldn't have had half the podcasting capability as you had this time last season.
No, I'm so glad we did this podcast this season.
Season 3 of podcast, the NASCAR Truck Podcast, is coming again.
I tell you what, once we start getting some merch, there is going to be NASCAR Truck Podcast shirts. We're going to get them out there for you guys.
What race? You mean podcast?
Yeah.
The Monday night podcast?
That's what I said, yeah. NASTRUCKS Podcast. Brought to you by Bristol in UK.
All right, you're banned. Or
You can't
alternatively,
ban me.
I mean,
It's going to be a difficult thing to do.
yeah, I mean, if I ban you, there's the. You can always use that bleeper you've got set up. Tell me how you really feel.
Is that okay? With I
I-
don't know. I don't know how I feel about using it because it's sort of it says that I'm saying something bad, but I might just be saying donuts. Like
do you remember the SpongeBob SquarePants episode where they used dolphin sounds that way?
Yes, I do.
I love that episode.
That is a good episode. All right, so Andrew Proctor has dropped it again, saying, wow, Matt Keane did it again. Missed it all and lucky dog again. Let's go, Matty, back on the lead lap.
Is he now? Okay. Keeney's got an ability now. Jamie Keane. Matty Keane has been putting hard work into these NASCARs lately. He's been running the Xfinity Series a whole bunch. I ran a few races with him at Kansas this week in the officials. He was working real hard on that. He got himself up over 2,000 iRating.
I heard that he might have outdone you in a race.
No, he didn't.
Ah, he was
How
just
dare
pulling
you.
my leg.
However-
How dare I? He was
however-
the one that said it.
How dare you? However, he did follow me home.
Ah. Was the wife not home again for that weekend?
No, she's home. She leaves next week.
Ah. Got that
Grand final week, she buggers off. Yeah, you know.
nice. You got that electric blanket all warmed up for me?
Mate, I've already relegated myself to the couch so you can have the bed.
What? That's no fun.
That's what you're supposed to do for guests, isn't it? You look after them.
All right, Pete from LR Esports has said, I sense a long green run here set up to be a cracker. Mate, this whole season has been an absolute cracker. Last week was a cracker after a cracker after a cracker.
Biggest cracker of the season was let off of finishing P3 last. That meme of the guy that's in third place celebrating like it's no tomorrow. That's me picturing Pete on the podium last week.
He didn't actually get out and do any burnouts, did he? He just sort of
No!
casually pulled into the pits and was like, yeah, look at me. We
Look
are
at me keeping
green
myself all
again.
contained.
We are
Yep. Big launch from Blake Delaney there. The pack will sort themselves out on the run down at turn number 1. Glenn McLeod gets free. Christopher Tomlin's looking for opportunity. And Aiden Schultz is back to 4th place on this restart. Make that 3rd place as he worms his way back onto the podium, looking for every scrap of track that's open to him.
going to keep our eyes on this mid-pack here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. All super close as Pete the Sipper
Pete
meter.
Morris! Oh, he's hung on to it! He's hung on to it! What
Well
a
done,
save!
Pete. Well done.
Unfortunately, he's now going to have Matty Keane coming out in quite quickly. Matty's been waiting for his opportunity to go racing all race. Pulling down to the inside was the 605 of Skulls, I believe.
Yeah, we did
Sure.
get a Scholesy fun fact tonight.
We did.
We did. I don't know if I got to read it all.
No, you didn't, because we got interrupted poorly by Caution.
Yeah, we did. How dare they interrupt us with their racing while we're trying to podcast?
Matty Skulls loves supercars, but his favourite car to drive in iRacing hands down is the Hyundai Veloster. So much so that he begged me and David Nash into racing it in the Nürburgring 24 hour. There you go. And yet, we haven't seen a Skullsy attempt at the TCRs yet on Wednesday nights. So,
That's
Skullsy,
true.
teammates to Skullsy, Riot Sim Racing boys, you have to make him compete next season in the TCRs. Aiden Schultz has made his way back up onto P2, so he's got around Glenn McLeod nice and quickly. And now I believe he's got a whole bunch of fresh rubber. Indeed, 14 laps. He did opt to come back down pit lane and grab fresh rubber and get that damage repaired. He'll catch the outside fence as well. So the right front corner of that Hayden Schultz machine is going to be a little bit worse for wear. Not as aerodynamically appropriate as it once was. Sends it to the high side. Delaney's going to cover him off on the low side. Will look for the block. Gets up enough. Now Schultz is going to be there. He'll get to the back bumper of Delaney. He's to the outside. Delaney's going to have to hang on to this one. This is a race now for the lead with 14 laps left to run. It's close, and now looking for the crisscross. Schultz will try and get back to the inside. Won't quite get there. Settles back in. Looking further back. Rice is now trying to defend his way off and hang on to a top 6, potentially making a top 5 and get his way back on and around Christopher Tomlin. Gets to the high side of Tomlin. Here comes Steen. Steening down the inside. See what he did there?
I did. I tried my hardest not to laugh. I definitely had to hold that one in, mate.
It's a good one. I've been waiting on an opportunity to use that one as Tomlin gets a big wiggle on. Almost looks like he's setting up for a performance for children there. Bit of hot potato in the cockpit.
That was our sound test song today.
Yeah, toot toot
Fun
chugga
fact.
chugga big blue car from Chris Tomlin. Can't say that Monday Night Podcast isn't entertaining.
It's my favourite night of the week.
Blake Delaney and Aiden Schultz still going at it, and we're now under 10 to go. So it is getting tight. Kobe Jordan gets the outside here, looking to try and grab some spots away. Although he is 2 laps down, so he's going to need a couple cautions to get his way back on the lead lap. Matty Keen's looking at a wall of cars in front of him. Make contact with Kobe Jordan. Jordan into the outside barrier. We stay green. No NASCAR overtime for Shibby yet.
Still got a few more laps, mate. I'm counting on you, boys.
Jared Steen down the inside of Chris Tomlin, trying to take that spot away. Tomlin now falls back to P8, and that rear bumper of his is looking worse for wear lap by lap. And now Delaney's finally settled it down. It looks like that aero wash has held up Schultz. And McLeod's still coming at him hungrily. And have a look at that pack in behind.
Oh, Petey Morris. Petey Morris.
Petey parked it up.
He
Morris down the inside. Promo Department safety car returns to the course. And we are about to go the first of 2 attempts of the green-white checker.
Oh, yes! I just realised what happened. I was looking at the laps. I thought it said 94. I don't know where I saw a 4. It's 96.
There's no way we get back green before that safety car trundles around.
Yes! We've had way too little NASCAR overtimes.
So
Way
the field
too
has
little.
been asked to let the safety car go by. First 3 cars are a mile out ahead of it. Petey Morris is going to try and sneak a few spots back. Field returning to get themselves back underway again. Kobe Jordan will grab a lap back. He will move to 1 down. Chris Tomlin coming to pit lane. He'll grab a fast repair and a fresh set of rubber. There's only 2 laps left. And it is going to be quite tricky for him to get some spots back. But if chaos continues to ensue, Chris Tomlin might be in an opportunity. He was already going backwards. Damaged race car or no. Now he's giving himself an opportunity, is what he thinks. And Matty Skulls will come down pit lane along with him. Strategy chicken, my dear shipster.
That's not what we were calling it last week. Do you remember?
I have no idea what we called it last week.
I was trying to...
It's chicken something.
Yeah, I was trying to work out what it was called. And you thought I was talking about the NASCAR overtime.
Yep.
But
NASCAR chicken.
It was NASCAR chicken, I think.
Over chicken. Chicken time. NASCAR chicken time.
It's peanut butter jelly time. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, it's going to get stuck in my head. Why did I do that? Speaking of songs that can get stuck in your head, what's one of your so this is throwing out to the chat out there. What's a song that you really don't like getting stuck in your head? Let me know in the comments so I can sing it.
I can. Every parent out there will not want to hear of any more Frozen.
I know some good ones that the song was sort of around in the early 80s on a awesome TV show. It might have had a little white lamb in it. Is this starting to show my age?
Are you talking? He's 80s.
It might have even been earlier, to be honest, but I remember watching it when I was a kid. It could have been earlier. I'm going to Google.
I have no idea what TV show you're talking about now. I'm actually really curious. Field forming themselves up for the first attempt at the green-white checkered flag. We will get 2 attempts here at it tonight. Field will reform up. Keep your eyes on Christopher Tomlin in that high lane. He'll be looking for a really good restart here. As the pace car dives down the pit lane, the promo department safety car peels off, and so does Blake Delaney as he gets us back underway. Tomlin gets a reasonable start. He tries to get down the inside. He gets turned. We'll be moving back into NASCAR overtime. Series leader goes to the rear.
What actually happened there?
He tried to get 3 wide at Bristol, and that is never going to work as well as you want it to. The car on the top's closed him down at the same time the car on the bottom's come up. He's just pinched it in a really bad spot.
And Matty Keane managed to get through again. He needs to go and buy a lottery ticket.
Well, he's got no luck left after this race.
Sarah Kay said the lion sleeps tonight. Adrian, yes, that's the one, mate. Lamb Chops Play Along, the song. And it was actually 90s. What? I thought it was a lot earlier than that. So the first episode actually aired in 1992. I thought it was a lot older than that. But the song is called, The Song That Doesn't End. And it doesn't have an ending. Because it goes on and on, my friends. Oh, no, it's done.
Oh, no.
It's done.
Oh,
I've done it.
I know the song now.
Yeah,
no.
you do. Yeah.
What have you done? You evil. You and Loretti, both of you, evil.
I think I like it. Thanks, Loretti. I appreciate that. Now it's stuck in my head. Maybe I mixed that song up and a whim away, a whim away, a whim away, a whim away.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle will tell Scotty to stop singing.
Sarah Kay's not going to like you for that one, mate. She actually was the one that said that she's not that keen on that song. So we've got everyone in the chat typing lyrics from Lamb Chops Play Along. This is fantastic. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on our Monday Night NASTRUCKS podcast. We have had an absolute blast this season and last season. And
I'm actually kind of disappointed we end the season again next season because we'll end up with 2 weeks off.
It's only it's a little under 2 weeks as far as we're looking at. So it's not going to be too long, mate. And we can always get together on our free time and we can sing songs together.
Well,
maybe we just start a podcast in the time off. Wait, we're already doing that. Why would we need to start another one? Makes no sense.
We start off week podcast and we go racing ourselves whilst we talk about stuff.
Hey, that's not a bad idea. We both do have Twitch channels. Twitch channels, both of us.
We do. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Want to give yourself a shout out, Scotty?
No, I'm not going to do that. You know who is getting twitchy? The guy that's getting twitchy right now is the guy that's got the field controlled in behind him. It's Blake Delaney as we will go green flag racing for the final time tonight here in just a few moments. The final attempt at a green-white checkers is coming in 1 more lap's time. They got excited because they're all formed up 2 by 2.
Yeah,
one to go, and
this will be the final attempt. Regardless of who is on their roof when they go across the line, this will be the decider for round 8 of the NASTRUCKS podcast.
The only flag that doesn't end the race here is a white flag. Every other flag will end the race. Checkered flag, well, green flag and white flag. So you got the checkered flag and the yellow flag will end the race. You will still have to complete the cooldown laps to get there, but they will be under yellow flag conditions. Righto, safety car will take the hard left-hand turn down pit lane. The SRW goes NASTRUCK Racing for the second last time this season, and there'll be a yellow flag for sure. No, they get through there, and Jai Schultz has turned Glenn McLeod across the nose and into the other Schultz. So Jai will take away P2. Nathan Allen's going to try and sneak some positions away in the back. Christopher Tomlin gets sideways. White flags in the air. We will finish this one under green flag conditions. And Blake Delaney will go the distance here tonight to walk away with the championship lead.
Oh.
He'll come home on the podium. It won't be Glenn McLeod as he's gotten a bump into the final corner, and Nathan Allen will pick up a whole host of spots, and the man who talks about the boat ramp will miss out on the podium
No,
by
we don't get Scholzy on the
a
podium.
minute section.
What a crazy finish.
What an absolute mental finish.
That was absolutely awesome. Guys having a bit of fun at the end there. There you go. Mr. Delaney, get your burnouts out, mate. On that finish line. Give me a good opportunity to get some great podium photos. That's what I want to see. We haven't had a good burnout podium photo in a while, so might have to get myself some NASTRUCK ones. It was a bit of a messy finish, Sarah Kay, but that's NASCAR. Imagine if there was 30 plus cars in a NASCAR overtime finish like that.
They just pile in there. SLM boys have had fun at least tonight.
Yeah.
They've had an interesting race. Not an easy race for both Michael Locke and Matty Keane. And I'm pretty sure Blake Delaney just blew his engine. Scholzy's going to burn it down because why not? He's happy with 4th place. And by rights, he should be. Stay clean when it matters.
Matty Keane's he's doing a proper American burnout. Just park it on something and spin the tyres. No line lockers here.
You know, the motocross, Supercross actually do that as well when they go to Daytona and Atlanta.
They park it up on a wall.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
so
do.
Petey Morris is doing it as well. It's a thing.
Yeah, it is a thing. Absolutely, it's a thing.
Is it just a thing because from what I've seen with American burnouts, they can't do line lockers very well?
No.
It's just
These cars do fantastic burnouts. Well,
I'm not
line
saying
lockers.
the cars don't. I'm saying the drivers of the cars can't.
Mate, I have seen American drivers very artfully and very skillfully attempt to take each other out and make it look unintentional and accidental, even though it is actually incredibly intentional.
I have watched a few things on NASCAR racing about that, about the grudges in racing and how some drivers have gone about their way to just accidentally take out their opponents. Since doing this with you, you know, I've got a bit of building a bit of a love for oval racing. So, and speaking of oval racing, we have the sprint cars, the 360 sprint cars tomorrow night from 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully you will see me having a crack again. So please join us then.
You finally managed to make time, yeah. All right, we'll move on straight to our podium celebrations, bringing it home in P number 3. The driver of the 52 is Aiden Schultz. Aiden, Bristol, it's always entertaining. Missed that pit stop in the middle of one of those cautions. You just missed getting to the lane on that first stop, and that made it very difficult for that next 30 or so laps.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what to say, really. Yeah, very dominant early. Definitely had pace, but yeah, just missed it. I wasn't really concerned when I missed it either. I thought I'd make my way through, and that's what we did. I don't know. It was a short track race, and you saw that tonight.
Racing from the bathtub, there's 2 grooves. One of the best things about Bristol is the fact that it is short track racing, and there are 2 very well defined yet very even grooves. And I think we saw a lot of that there tonight. And Blake, I mean, when you've got a driver alongside of you that's maybe not got the amount of oval reps in as the rest of you in Blake Delaney, but he does definitely have the road course reps up, you're expecting the blocks, you're expecting the defensive moves. I think we saw some of that. It was still clean. You never cut your nose off at any stage very, very late, but it was blocking at the right time. It was good racing.
Yeah, it was. I think that comes down to the respect of the drivers, though, because in normal NASCAR, well, really, it is all right. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That just comes down to two drivers knowing what each other are doing and respecting each other on the racetrack, and that's what racing should be. So.
Yeah, and it's also timing in the race, because if that was happening in the last 5 laps, the driver behaviour changes in the last 5 to 10 laps, particularly at Bristol where the lap is a 15-second lap. But if the
It
fact
can
was
do
happening,
as well. It can do as
Yeah.
well, Scott. But in some of those blocks, I would have positioned my car in a different spot if we were later on in the race.
for sure.
I was sort of just sitting there seeing, is he going to race me or is he going to put it high and let me go? Because I did have pace at that time of the race. So that's why you saw me change lanes on a couple of occasions, just trying to suss it out. So, yeah, if we're at the back end of the race, I think it would be a little bit different, as you'd say, but I would have raced it totally different.
Oh yeah, but that's just that. I mean, that is racing. You don't in the same way that you would attempt to in IndyCar is probably the right one. You would test a run to see a couple laps out from the finish if you can get to the lead right at the line, and you would go, okay, I was half a car length short. I need to attempt that run so much further forward. So it's the same sort of stuff going on here tonight. A little bit of an up and down season from you, Aiden. Obviously started off with the win, and then I just had a quick look through. Second time back on the podium, so I get the feeling that it's a season of what could have been in some instances.
Mate, if I reflect the season, I went in with high hopes, but come off with the round 1 win, went into round 2 where I knew the likes of Delaney and a couple of the other boys would be stronger on the road course. And they did that. I come away with the 7th. Then round 3, my favourite, Darlington, the lady in black, internet gods. So I totally missed that round. That screwed me. And then obviously trying to fight back too hard because there's no drop rounds. I had a couple of bad rounds on my favourite 1.5s, and we are where we are, and it is what it is, mate. We keep racing. That's the pleasure of it, mate. We get to escape and come back next week and have another go.
Looking forward to Atlanta. I have a sneaking suspicion that I've heard you say at some stage that you loved the old Atlanta configuration with the tyre wear and the multi-groove racing to sort of finish the season, caps things off. It's been a season of tricky tracks, if you will, and I think that sort of puts a nice cap on the end of the season.
Well, now that you're saying we're going to the old Atlanta as opposed to the new Atlanta, that's tickled my taste buds a little bit. You obviously raced around me a lot because I'm excited for that one. That one's going to be a great race. I think if guys put a little bit of laps practice into there, that is going to be an absolute stonker because it's a great track and a good way to finish the season.
That's it. I mean, you talk about tracks where multi-groove racing, and when you say multi-groove racing, you go, oh yeah, Michigan, you go Auto Club with its 5 lanes potentially for you to run. But Atlanta's one of those old school style tracks where there is 3 defined lanes and all 3 of them work. So
they can, Scott, but they can at different times. And
exactly.
This is a fixed setup race, so you're not going to see 3 grooves when we come next week. I'll guarantee you at Atlanta. We'll probably see him on occasions, but it'll probably end up in a wreck. But yeah, I reckon 2 lines will be the go at Atlanta, and maybe not so 3 in the old configuration. But definitely looking forward to tyre wear, especially through 3 and 4. That's going to be a big issue washing up into that outside wall. So it's very similar to Texas, I suppose. So,
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Well, see, I'm a high lane bandit, so I'm always like, as soon as somebody says old Atlanta, I'm always like, oh yes, up against the fence, yes please, absolutely every day of the week. Anyway, Aiden Schultz comes away with the 3rd place tonight, and the sponsors for Aiden Schultz are...
So of course, Southern Stars Esports Racing, all those guys supporting me there, Andy and the team, Skypoint, Mish's XL Garage, of course, Tiona Holiday Parks, everyone behind it, of course, you guys at SRW TV and SRW for putting on the league. Without putting on the league, we would not be able to go racing. So a big thank you to you guys as well. And first and foremost, big thank you to all the competitors for coming out and racing, because without them coming out and racing, you'd have nothing to broadcast and we would have no one to race against. So thank you so much. Look forward to next week.
No worries. Thank you very much, Aiden Schultz, driver for Southern Stars, driver of the 52 in 3rd place there tonight. Moving on to our 2nd place from the podiums of driver of the 27, and it will be Jai Schultz. Jai, it's always a tricky run when you come to the bathtub. You found in the early runnings, I had a look through the back of the pack and I went, this is not where I would be expecting Jai Schultz to perhaps be running about that 7th, 8th position. Although, actually, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen you run at Bristol. So I had a look at that and went, but then again, late on, that's where you seem to sort of find your rhythm halfway through some of these things and come on strong in the latter stages.
Yeah, no, it was interesting to come back to Bristol. Definitely, I think the last time I ran on the asphalt here was 2014 in the Ford Fusion. So bit of getting used to and yeah, learning the track again. But on the green flag run, it kind of hooked up on the bottom, so got a lot of pace down there.
It is obviously we've walked into NASCAR playoffs in terms of the real world things. Going to be having a crack at the Bristol 500 and the next gen cars this weekend, or are you going to be giving that a miss?
I'll just have to see how the body holds up. So it's not doing too good at the moment. So just see how I feel on the day of it and give it a crack if I'm feeling up to it, I guess.
A little bit the same sort of for you in terms of how the season's gone in terms of yourself and Aiden. A few ups, a few downs, a few rounds where things have sort of gone middled. I mean, it's good to finally see you on the podium towards the tail end, but another season of what could have been, really.
Yeah, it's been kind of a season of like we've had the pace, both myself and Aiden, and it's just unlucky situations being caught up with other cars and sometimes a bit of wrongdoing from us and a few mistakes, but it was really good to get both Schultzes on the podium here tonight.
And most importantly, to finish as the better Schultz tonight. That's the important one.
Yeah, that's it.
Looking forward to Atlanta next week. Obviously, a track that doesn't come around too often anymore, moving to legacy content. The older Atlanta, bigger fan of the old Atlanta or the new?
Definitely the new, but I think we're at the road course, if I'm correct, next week.
No, Atlanta Legacy Oval. The
Okay.
old, yep.
I might be all right then.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, driver in the number 27 is Jai Schultz, and the people who make it possible for Jai are...
Yeah, just shout out to Platinum Racing and also Aiden, Kobe and Chop for running with me tonight and being in the comms. Also, thanks to DSL Welding Services for coming on board this year, and also Brush Steels Express, LA Esports, Phones and Stuff, Pilgrim Gaming Hub, and Kookaburra Cafe.
Ladies and gentlemen, driver the 27, Jai Schultz, and finishes in P2 here tonight. And finally, it's 2 nights in a bloody row for you, isn't it, Blake Delaney? You win tonight, win last night, and what's next? Is the world your oyster?
You're going to get sick of talking to me. I hope that's the case, though. I hope you do get sick of talking to me.
I hope I never do, because if I get sick of talking to you, I might have to be looking for a new job.
Absolutely. No, it was awesome fun tonight. How cool was the racing? Pretty close, and I suppose it was really clean as well. I like that, especially at the front anyway. I know there was a bit going on behind, but yeah, fairly clean. It was good.
Well, the important part is you had enough fuel left over for a heap of burnouts there tonight. I mean, you got a little bit of burning out last night in the V8 Supercar, but
Yep.
Excess fuel here in the truck. 2 green-white checkers to throw your way as well. It's not too bad, a first-time trip out to the bathtub.
Yeah, absolutely. Haven't been here for years, and I love the green white checker. I think that's gives the leader certainly an opportunity to grab a couple of car lengths, and if you're quick enough off the line, you can basically hold off the leader, especially on a bull ring track. So second place, sorry, on a bull ring track. So it's good.
In terms of you oval racing this weekend, I would say is pretty much going to be out of it. You obviously got Bathurst 1000 commitments by the sounds of things, but it's been an interesting season, and at this stage of the season, you'll now be walking into the final round with the championship lead. Does that change the way you approach Atlanta next week at all?
Nah, not at all. Just have a heap of fun, mate. Go and grab a win if we can, second, third, whatever it is. Just battle as hard as possible and do the best job you can on each night.
And I think the most important part is this is a big statement for all those guys who don't run ovals a whole bunch. The guys that can turn right are also quite capable at turning left and then left and then left again. So is there anything that you'd like to say to anyone out there that's potentially considering racing on ovals?
Oh, get in and have a go. It is a lot of fun, especially SCSR put on a pretty good show. So it's really good to, SRW put on a really good show. It's really cool to see how you guys run it. You don't take any nonsense. People are pretty respectful. Besides the odd bloke who thinks they're a pro driver and really runs around the back of the pack. But at the end of the day, mate, it's just a lot of fun. Everyone needs to get out and have a bit of fun with us and have a go at some of the ovals. It's good on the big ovals, but also surprisingly fun on some of the short tracks like tonight.
Yeah, and unique surfaces like it is tonight as well. Cement surface. That's the one thing I forgot to mention is when you come racing at Bristol, it's back on. It's on cement. It's not asphalt. It's cement.
Yeah, it is definitely different. It takes a few laps for the tyres to warm up a little bit. You get a little bit sideways. It's like, first couple of laps in a supercar, you just want to be really careful. But as soon as you get 3 or 4 laps under your belt, then you can start really powering out of the corners. So, yeah, a lot of fun, mate. A lot of fun.
Yeah, well, good news. Cement surfaces will be making their return again next season because we'll be heading to Nashville Super Speedway. So look out. If you've ever wanted to go racing on cement, well, next season's your opportunity for sim racing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the male model, as called by his teammates, driver of the sushi, it is the 08 of Blake Delaney, and the people who make it possible for Blake are...
The Fishy Boys, first of all, they are an absolute bunch of legends. You should see Discord tonight. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
Can I get an
13,
invite?
14
where's my
people in there
invite?
tonight.
Yeah, where's our invite?
Yeah,
When
mate.
There's some secret men's business going there. There's a good 14 of us, 15 of us on there tonight, which has been a hell of a lot of fun. It's so cool. There's probably 4 or 3 different races that people are racing tonight. 3 or 4 of us in each race, trying to spread around each series, which is really cool to see. And obviously, we have a blast with you guys. So, big shout out to West End Motor Group, Parramatta Peugeot Professional, Parramatta City Great Wall, West End Mazda Parramatta, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, DC Shades, Reflex Marine and Game Fishing, Infinity Designs, Adrenaline Images, and the man who puts all the setups together, although it was a fixed setup tonight, is normally Josh Thomas from Precision Sim Training.
And finally, I have one further comment. Is it your birthday?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that. Is it your birthday, mate?
Absolutely not.
Oh, the chat
David
sort of,
Coleman.
Happy birthday. No.
yeah, chat sort of thinks that
David
it's your
Coleman in the chat.
birthday.
Yeah, David Coleman. I tell
It's
you what,
not
that-
actually. It's Pete from LR Esports.
Was it?
Yeah, shouting you out, mate.
Petey's been Petey's been done over a few times by the Fishy Boys, putting comments in there, and he's said it like 4 or 5 times. Said, "Is it your birthday? Is it your birthday?" And every time it's not their birthday, and he's got done on stream. So he's just trying to get a few back on us. So appreciate that, Pete. Thanks very much. But hey, big shout out first of all. Want to mention big David Coleman drove his best race the other night at. In the Bathurst 1000, absolutely drove the wheels off the car, and had a stupendous drive in the charity race on the weekend. So massive shout out. I give him a fair bit of curry when I normally get onto these broadcasts, but I can't give him any after the weekend.
Yeah, the only curry that you can give him this week is where the bloody hell are you, David Coleman, on a Monday night?
Well, he did start the season in the trucks. I think he got a bit scared off by some of the pace of some of the boys. But no, he definitely had the pace on Sunday. Let me tell you, he shocked the shit out of all of us. He's been telling everyone how he has been down on performance, down on speed for the last 4 or 5 weeks, and then just come out and went whack on Sunday. So it was pretty cool to see.
Well, I was going to say, his race pace has been phenomenal this qualifying. Yeah, you'd say the 1 lap pace from David hasn't been great. His overtaking ability, his way to cut his way through the pack, has been of special note this season because obviously poor qualifying performances. You got to find something. He's done phenomenal there, and his race pace has been awesome. So
Mate, he's been unbelievable, and he's definitely quick on the message. He's been bringing us all the up to date news on the pond chat, which has been really cool. But he's all over it, David Coleman.
Yeah. Well done, David Coleman. And Pete, is it David Coleman's birthday? Happy birthday, Dave. No, it's not David Coleman.
Yeah, I'm
No,
still
it's
trying
not.
to work out whose birthday it is.
Nah, it's not. You'll never work that out.
Even
mate.
Stinkovich. It was his
There'll always-
birthday yesterday.
It was
They'll always-
Steve's.
There'll always be a fishy boy that's got a birthday, whether it is or it isn't.
Well, I was going to say, there's enough of you. I'm surely it's somebody's birthday at any one moment.
Yeah, it's good possibility, eh?
Right, ladies and gentlemen, Blake Delaney, driver of the 08, your winner from the bathtub, Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum, and he is the gladiator to top them all from the bathtub. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that from the NASCAR Truck Series here on a Monday night. Join us again next week from about 8 o'clock as we'll go live for qualifying at 8:15 to wrap up the championship. Blake Delaney will move to the top of the points table as Christopher Tomlin falls by the wayside in a poor night's performance. Has got tangled up in just a few things at the wrong bits and pieces of time. Ran well, but he will cede that championship lead. Join in next week as we attempt to crown our season number 2 champion. And if that's not enough for you, we say a big shout out to Warren and Brown Tools. Can we get that Can we get that ad once again, Chibi? I'm still amazed by this ad. This thing is fantastic. Warren and Brown tools. So you guys watch that in the bottom right-hand corner of your picture whilst I continue to talk on. Tomorrow night, Dirt Sprint Cars, your Tuesday night action. If you like turning left, but you like doing it with a little bit more right turning action on the steering wheel, turn right to go left, is how those things work. Wednesday night is going to be your TCRs, followed by your Formula 3 with 2 rounds left in the championship. Those have been anything but decided. Thursday night, the action hots up once again as we see if Steven Sinkovic can finally finish a race in the SR10 Radical. He's won the last few weeks by just being the only car on track and not even finishing the race. Can he wrap up yet another one whilst finishing multiple laps down? That's still to be decided. Porsche Cup will follow that on Thursday night before the V8 Supercars head to their penultimate round. I say penultimate because that's exactly what I mean in your Sunday nights. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you everything from Bristol Motor Speedway, not located in England, much to Shibby's discuss. Proud shout out to all of our sponsors, of course, Warren and Brown, sponsor of the NASTRUCKS in all of our streams going forward. DSL Welding Services, Pagnian Advanced Simulations, your proud supplier of your next level racing machinery, Toyo Sims, Melville Equipment Corporation, Dragon RC. I think I got them all.
Promo department.
Promo department. Ah, I got excited for too early.
You did well. I was actually going to ask you if you wrote those all down.
No, I didn't. That's all off memory, all off the cuff.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, it's just how the memory, that's how the old noggin works. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Scotty Rattlegun Rankin. That is the Shibstar, and this is the second last episode of your SRW NASTRUCKS podcast. Next week we sign off before we move on to off-season coverage. Ladies and gentlemen, see you sometime in the not-too-distant future.
That's right. Say hi to your mum for me.